Attendant, why has the door to the lower level been locked? Locked? Are you certain, Elder?
Yes, I was just checking.
Of course I'm certain. I wished to bless the tombs with the monthly invocation, but I couldn't get the door to open. I'm certain it's only stuck, Elder. I'll speak to Glover Mallory and see if he can take a look at it.
You may have everyone fooled, but I see what you're doing here. The Call of Gold sends you scurrying like a rat. Mirag. It sounds very familiar. Not someone here, but I'm not sure I can recall. I can't be sure. I know I've heard that name, but are you here to pray? Or perhaps pay your respects at our ancestral tomb? Does that make any sense? Sounds like something from a dream, and yet it might be more strange. I remember a temple on Solstheim, and working to build something. There where we inter our dead. Sadly, we've been unable to use the ancestral tomb beneath the temple as of late, and have resorted to other locations to scatter the remains. Those foul vermin, the abominations we call ash spawn, have risen from the ashes of our own ancestors. They're befouling the memories of our forefathers by defiling their remains. Thank you. Here, this key should open the door to the tomb. The Dunmer race doesn't bury their dead or leave them to rot. When a Dunmer passes, his body is given to fire, so he might return to the Act. The Dunmer don't believe that death is the end. We believe that it's the beginning. The reclamations are the true tribunal, the Daedra that consecrate the Dunmer people, Azura, Methala, and Boethia. We call them the true tribunal because they have reclaimed their place in our hearts from the false tribunal that came before. Sotha Sil, Amalexia, and Vivek represent what was, beings who won the Dunmer people's hearts with their actions, but blinded them just the same. They were aberrations, false prophets. They used their status as heroes to shield the true tribunal from our minds. But now that they've been destroyed, the light can finally shine upon the House of Reclamations. Be cautious. Friend, the ash spawn are soulless beings with no regard for compassion.
Ever seen a redder in garb?
I am Othraloth, Elder of... Spirits be praised. I'm hoping you didn't suffer much at the hands of those foul beings. Please, accept it. It's a token of my love. The reclamations herald the dawn of a new age and its downfall of the forces. Councillor Morvain is the only reason Ravenlock has survived all these years. You should pay your respects.
Captain Valence mentioned how valuable you have become to the Reverend Guard, Councillor.
Odin Valance, Captain of the Reverend Guard at your service.
You must be using quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, so, what can I get you? God, things are... All I'm wondering is how long it'll take for House Redorin to begin ignoring us again if the mine runs out of ore for a second time. You're making my buyer happy. Keep them coming. I think I maybe had a dream about... It was very strange. Was I building something? A shrine down on the beach near the Earthstone?
Keep moving. Listen to this one. My nights have been impossible to bear without you. I beg you, please depart that blasted island and return to solitude at once.
No more. What a fool.
Do you think he's the one we left in the tunnel?
Who cares? Nods all look the same to me.
Wait. Did you hear that? Sounds like those ash spawn are back.
Well, at least if the other Nord returns, they'll take care of him. She was real surprised when I pulled her.
Time to die!
Dead.
Wait a minute, I can hear that. There's twin over there. There's something else here. So... Must have led somewhere, this tunnel.
Men, an invader has entered the fort. Prepare yourselves for an ambush. Fort Frostlock will never fall. Long live the Empire!
still
What
here.
was that?
I'll crush the life from you! This will all be over soon. I'll split you in two.
Make way.
Do you mind?
What news do you bring from Fort Frostmoth? I had my suspicions that he was undead. How else could he have survived for over 200 years? It's a shame. There are quite a few tales of General Carius's exploits, including the founding of Raven Rock. Councillor Morvain told me to give this to you if you made it back in one piece, and you got rid of General Carius. Better than a soldier's pay, so you should be thankful.
10,000.
I'm sorry to bother you, but Second Councillor Rano asked me to come find you. He said it's quite urgent. All he wanted me to do is track you down and send you to him. Look, this is important. Please, go speak to the Second Councillor as soon as possible. I'm sorry.
I've already said too much. Talk to Second Councillor Arano if you're willing to help us.
Plenty of work for the mine, if you're looking.
If you've got any gripes, check in at Morvain Manor. Second Councillor Arano will sort you out.
Thank you for coming. After everything you've already done for Raven Rock, I hate to ask for more, but I can't risk Councillor Morvain being killed. The Ulan family of House Lalu, a rival great house, has placed a death mark on the Councillor's head. It's a private matter. Let's just say they seek revenge for the execution of one of their own, ordered by Councillor Morvain himself. The problem is, I don't have any solid proof that anyone from House Lalu is hidden among us. Only my suspicions. It may be justified, but it certainly isn't appreciated. Councillor Morvain simply feels that I'm being paranoid. I'm afraid that one day I'll awaken and discover him dead. And I don't want it to come to that. I do. I've received some information from my sources that there could be elements of Ulan's house, House Lalu, already in Raven Rock. Raven Rock is a small settlement, so it's hard to accomplish anything in secret. If any of them is from House Lalu, I wouldn't be able to make a move without them knowing. Summoning you here was part of my plan. I was hoping you'd be interested in investigating for me. I had a feeling you'd be. I need you to start out by being my eyes and ears. Search Raven Rock. See if you can root out these traitors. The best place to start would be Geldis Sadri, over at the Retching Netch Corner Club. If he provides you any leads, check them out before bringing them to my attention. Can't afford to make any mistakes. I'm unsure. I don't think so. I'm not... The name has something to do with the Earthstone, I think, but... Traitors. Their collaboration with the Empire may have given them unrivaled political and economic strength, but their hearts weren't with the Dunmer people. Lalu deserved every bit of hatred they received once the Empire released its grasp on Morrowind. Having past ties to the Empire immediately turned them into the scapegoat for the dumb people's suffering. They had welcomed the Empire with open arms and benefited from it. When everything was said and done, they were no longer recognized as a great house and were dismissed from the council. You might think it's all perfume and roses now that the mine's open. But all I see is a new security problem on our hands. Making sure those shipments of ebony make it safely from the mine to the shipping docks is my new order of the day. And with Solstein crawling with reavers and Azora knows what else, we can't risk any attacks on Raven Rock. I maintain a few contacts in other Dunmer settlements across Tamriel. Most hail from House Redoran, but there are a few from other houses. Most of my contacts live leagues away from Solstein. Sending the occasional message back and forth is all we can manage, and sometimes takes months or more to arrive. However, any information we can glean in times like this I consider vital to House Redoran's survival. During the Oblivion Crisis, gates to the Plane of Oblivion opened all over Morrowind. The Empire pulled most of its forces out of Morrowind to deal with the gates in their own homeland, leaving us virtually defenseless. We had no standing army at the time, just uncoordinated pockets of resistance. House Redoran took charge and was slowly able to build an army. It took years, but it became a force to be reckoned with. When the Argonians invaded years later, House Redoran's army was able to prevent them from sweeping across all of Morrowind. It would be fair to say that House Redoran literally saved the Dunmer people from destruction. Don't worry, you can trust us. Stay with us for a long time.
You think you have to try walking the ball?
Excuse me, Captain. Do you have any plans for the west end of town? You feel...
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out. Welcome to the Retching Nedge Corner Club, home of the finest Sioux jammer that will ever grace your lips. There's actually a funny story behind it. A few years ago, I was walking down by the docks, and I noticed a Dunmer staggering along with a bottle of Sioux jammer in hand. He was one of my patrons and liked to drink heavily, so I wasn't exactly surprised. But you see, this particular Dunmer was as naked as the day he was born and singing badly at the top of his lungs. As I'm watching this spectacle, a netch floats over the bulwark towards him. The man looks straight up at the netch, yells, "Have a drink!" and tosses the bottle. And it never hit the ground. Well, the bottle broke on the netch, and it must have swallowed its contents because it started floating sort of tilted. Finally, it stopped and began to quiver. A few moments later, the foulest liquid to ever assail your nostrils spewed from its maw. I've seen plenty of drunks every day, and I'll tell you right now, that netch was sick. True story, friend. True story. How do you think? It's a blessing. I've got regular paying customers again. Thirsty workers at the end of the day, and more coin than I can count. The finest sujama to cross your lips, friend. My own personal formula that I call Sadri's Sujama. In fact, I've just added some new ingredients to the mixture that I think makes it taste better than ever. All I need to do is get the word out that it's ready, and they'll flock here for it. I was here. Take these samples of the Sujama and spread the word. If you get rid of all of them, there's something extra in it for you. Welcome to the Wretched Netch Corner Club, home of the finest Sujama that... The mine's open, people are buying drinks, and I'm... Well, Adril's got himself a spy, does he? Azura knows he needs all the help he can get. He's been chasing the Ulans for years. No, I just think he's going about this the wrong way. Actually, I do. If you want to catch those slippery slaughterfish, you need to let them come to you. There's an Ulan ancestral tomb near the temple. Someone's been leaving ash yam offerings on the altar inside. If you were to wait inside for whomever that is, I'm betting they'll have some of the answers you're looking for. What makes you think I haven't? Anytime Adril and the Redarin Guard made a move, the Ulans must have been one step ahead and didn't show up. You can thank me if it works. Until then, I'd head to the tomb and wait until your visitor shows up. Back in 95, Vila Ulan came to Raven Rock with a plan to take over our town. The Fetcher thought he could stir up the locals and use them against the Redarin Guard, and then murder Consular Morvain when we weren't looking. He arrived alone, but spread enough coin around to start changing people's minds. Half the bloody town joined his side. Can you believe that? Welcome to the Wretched Net. The Fetcher thought he could... Half the bloody town joined us. He underestimated the Redarin Guard. They were organized. Vila tried to run, but he was... Vila Ulan was executed a short time later, and his remains placed in the Ulan ancestral tomb. When the Dunmer is laid to rest, the body is burned and returned to the ashen soil. Since the ash yam is born of the very same soil, it represents rebirth and renewal. The fact that life ends and begins anew.
Teldrin Sero, blade for hire. If you have the coin, I'm at your service.
Now, if you'll excuse me.
I'll give you this warning only once. Stay out of my way, and we'll do just fine. All right, then. Merkel doesn't lend coin to outlanders. Look somewhere else.
Welcome to the Wretched Netch Corner Club, my lord. If you need anything, Master Geldis will be happy to help you. Did I know someone by that name? Maybe I'm just confused. Sorry, Geldis won't allow me to drink while I'm working at the Netch.
I knew it!
I'll cut you open!
We've got a crew on it. They're not sharp, but they're working hard. Come back soon. See how they're doing.
Talk to Rannis about this next.
Excuse me. I didn't realize there was anyone else here. I presume the same thing you're doing. Forgive my surprise. It's just that I wouldn't expect that sort of behavior from someone who isn't Dunmer. Since there aren't any Ulans left on this island, I've taken it upon myself to lead the traditional offering in their stead. What do you mean? I'm simply on. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to meditate a bit. Please, I don't wish to be disturbed while I'm meditating.
With the Ashbourne threat taken care of, I can give my men the rest they deserve. Well done. Move along, Outlander. You lost.
You've brought Ravenrock back from the brink, traveler. I don't know how to thank you.
Traveling beyond the bulwark will be much safer as a result of your victory at Fort Frostmourne. Many thanks.
How much longer?
Your contributions have earned you citizenship here, friend. I'll always consider you one of us. Do I? What a strange... I'm not even sure. I can picture a temple with the mines open. Raven Rock has become a significant... I've been able to convince my superiors at House Redoran to send me the resources that they've been denying, now that we're deemed more important. Soon, we'll have a steady supply of workers and materials to keep things going for years to come.
All we can do is make the most of what we have.
You've never heard, we're the mightiest of the great houses, and we lead the council, the ruling body of Morrowind. This isn't Skyrim, Outlander. A group of powerful and influential Dunmer families have been ruling Morrowind for millennia. They embody a council made up of 5 great houses: Telvanni, Dres, Indoril, Sadras, and Redoran. Well, of course, with 4 other houses on the council, someone has to keep the rabble organized. Our house leads the council by virtue of our preeminence in battle, wisdom, and ancestral glory. Yes, I am. If you're interested in pursuing the subject, help yourself to any of the Solstheim is theoretically under my rule, but without revenue from the mine, I lack the resources to act. Not that there's much beyond the confines of our town anyway. Well, there's a small enclave of Nords to the north in Skarl village. They pretty much keep to themselves, and we both like it that way. Then there's Tel Mithrin to the east. The Telvanni live out there, sort of a strange lot. Other than that, Solstheim is crawling with bandits and weaklings. But that's to be expected living in a frontier like this. Good old Geldis is always managing to keep our spirits up, and our eyesight hazy. Thank you.
Which I've done without question for over 100 years. It is the closest thing.
Traveling beyond the bulwark will be much safer as a result of your victory at Fort Frostmourne. Many thanks.
I'm sorry, my love. It's this island. It's never felt the same since we left Vardenfell. It's as though a part of me is missing.
Every Dunmer left a piece of themselves behind when they departed our home. All we can do is make the most of what we have.
You look able to venture outside of Tassos. Perhaps you could help me recover something precious that was lost. Why does that sound so familiar? There's no... I don't know. Adral Arano. Second... How I hate that title. Damn fool's going to get himself killed over it someday. He's in grave danger, and yet he continues to place himself in harm's way. When I fall asleep at night, all I can do is hope he'll still be there when I awaken. This island was never meant for us. I assure you, if I could convince Adral to do that, I'd be on it. Unfortunately, Adral and Councillor Morvain are very close friends, and they will never abandon one another, despite my feelings. I'm the wife of a second councillor, and certain things are expected of me. The most important thing is that I stand by Adral no matter how I feel, and I intend to do that until we get off this miserable rock. Adral and I lived in Blacklight, the capital city of Morrowind. House Redoran has improved Blacklight substantially over the last 1,000 years. It's the root spire where the Council of Great Houses meet is something to behold. I haven't seen the city in over 50 years, even for a dun. Regardless, I hope to return there someday, which doesn't seem likely given my husband's commitment to Councillor Morvain. Oh, how kind. Thank Geldis for me, won't you? A few months ago, I had sent an important folio to the first edition bookshop in the Imperial City to be rebound. They sent it back to me recently, but it never arrived. Yes, the strident squall. The damn thing sunk right off the coast of Solstheim. Can you imagine? One of the sailors survived. Poor thing crawled all the way to Rick. Before he died, he told the Redoran Guard about the wreck and warned us that it was going to be crawling with reavers. Thank you. You have no idea how much it hurts losing such a precious heirloom.
I hope Gelders proved useful.
So
have you made any progress?
To reward you if you find my folio.
What? Oh, no, thank you. I need to keep my head clear. Telesu, are you sure? So Gelders' plan worked, eh? If Telesu's involved in any sort of plot to harm Councillor Morvain, I'm not kicking down anyone's door. If you're wrong about Telesu, things would quickly go downhill around here, and the real culprit, if you have evidence and it places your life in peril, I would... Here, this key should open the front door of the manor in case they've locked it. Good luck. Telesu is wife to the family patriarch Vendel. They have a single child, a daughter named Miri. They arrived here 10 years ago and have been nothing but a benefit to Raven Rock ever since. They're quite wealthy and they've been quite generous by sharing their fortune with the community. They've contributed coin, food, supplies, even helped repair a few of the buildings in town with their own hands. People have mentioned it's a bit odd about how close in age Mary appears to be to her father, but that's hardly a cause for alarm. Just make sure you find solid evidence. If I accuse them without it, I'll be the laughing stock of the colony. Villa Ulen wasn't the first Ulen to live in Raven Rock. His father, Valen Ulen, was one of the first Dunmer to settle here. Unlike his son, Villa, Valen was a good man. He contributed to the community and was quite respected. When Valen died, his family provided the funds to construct the tomb. The Ulen family being a part of House Lalu didn't matter. It's Dunmer's tradition for the ashes of the deceased to be placed in an ancestral tomb. Valen Ulen and his son's remains were both laid to rest there because that's what he'd requested. Be careful. If the Severans have betrayed us, then they'll be well armed.
If you intend to wander Solstheim, you do so at your own risk.
This looks like it's going to be my house.
I've been looking for you.
Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Got this from a pretty excited-looking dark elf around Raven Rock. He said it was important I got it to you as soon as I could. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
At some point, you're going to have to choose. No matter the outcome.
I work for Mokrul. You've got a problem. You talk to him.
You lost?
You've brought Raven Rock back from the brink, Traveler. I don't know how to thank you.
Did you find any evidence at Severin Manor yet? Then we finally have them. All that remains now is chasing them down and bringing them to justice.
May I have a word with you, Council?
Good. I'm going to send 2 of the best Redoran guards we have to take them down. I want you to assist them any way you can. See that you do. We can't afford to let these traitors slip away.
Production this season.
Careful with those flames, unless you plan on torching something.
Nope. Sorry. Nothing.
Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. This isn't good. We only got a little ways in. Something managed to wake up the drawer. Before I could blink, all the miners were dead, and I was next in line. Don't think anyone else made it out alive. This is what I get for skimping on labor. Well, unless you want to deal with the Draugr, this whole little venture of ours is over. Might be over either way. It looked like a dead end before the place started crawling. We could have missed something. I don't know. Any luck? Just finish the job. If you want back in a couple of hours, I'll start packing up.
luck?
Well, perhaps there's some hope for us yet. Now, I have to go recruit some more miners. It won't be easy, seeing as none of their friends came back from the first attempt. We'll have to sweeten the pot a bit this time. I think I'll need, say, 2,000 septums to hire replacements. I never get tired of that sound. It'll take me a few days to dig up some more laborers, but swing back when you get a chance. See how we're doing.
last of them. We have come south to test our worth against the mighty Netch. Will you join us?
Yep.
The giant air floaters from the Dark Elf lands. Only the brave dare to hunt them. Come, test yourself against the beast with us. We all will share a warrior if our aim, if not. Either way, they will sing songs of our luck. Luck will play no part today. We will earn our victory or return to the Allmaker.
You're mine. I won't leave here alive.
Fight back.
Beware the tentacles! Beware the tentacles!
That's your best, huh? Sure, mercy on you!
Think you can take me?
Beware the tentacles!
Lucky hit! Son of a...
Death awaits you.
Sure have mercy!
The beast was not the only one to fall this day. May the Allmaker well... our brethren with open up.